Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. Well, hello, welcome back. Today I am going to be showing you a really exciting DIY that I came up with this past weekend to turn a plain painted fireplace into something that looks a lot more like limestone. I'm really excited to show you that because it's so easy. That's going to be toward the end of the video. I'm going to start with some thrift footage and then show you what I bought and how I styled it first. So I did hit up multiple different thrift stores as per usual over this past week or two, and I have some things to share with you. For one thing, one of the thrift stores that I stopped at, a guy was bringing out a fresh cart full of stuff, and in it was this whole collection of bells. I think someone must have had a large collection and it got donated all at once. So there were a lot more than this, and I couldn't get footage of all of them. There were some other shoppers around the cart and everything like that. But I did end up bringing these two home with me. I thought that they would be really sweet at Christmas time. The one on the right side, the brass one, was $2.99, and then the smaller one on the left was $1.99. Does say Christmas 1990 on the larger one, and yes, I was alive in 1990, just in case you weren't sure. I definitely was alive. So I think that these are really sweet. I'm going to put those away for Christmas time. I also thought that this desk was absolutely beautiful. Apparently this shape is called like a kidney bean style sometimes online. I hadn't really heard that, but totally makes sense based on looking at it. And I thought it was just really neat because look, it has the original casters that someone kept in the drawer. It is a little bit beat up and would need some restoration, but such beautiful lines on this piece, and it was $299. One thing that I did bring home was this plate. Now this was only 99 cents at the same thrift shop that I found the bells, and I thought that it was just so pretty. I love the colors on it. Also love the fact that it has that pear motif on the front. It will be perfect to display really any time of year, but definitely as we head into fall and winter. And so I just bought this pack of these plate hangers on Amazon that you use simply by sticking to the back of the plate, and it has the hanger on it, and you hang that on the nail on your wall. It was super easy. So I added this one to my dining room over here in this corner. I also picked up this blue and white plate from my antique trip in Asheville and forgot to put it in that video, as well as this smaller one that I found back at home, but it happens to have the same design around the rim, the same exact color. So I think that those work perfectly together, and I'm hanging this set of two up in my kitchen over here on this little wall between the pantry and the doorway. I'm using those same kind of hanger backs, and they're so easy to use. I'm going to link those in the description box in case anyone is interested. But I love these two little plates. The big one from the antique shop was $8, and the little one cost me just 99 cents. Now, as luck would have it, I also found this other blue and white piece over the past week or so. It's this beautiful pedestal style scalloped rimmed bowl. It does go for about $45 up to $60 or so online. Mine was just $2.99 from the thrift store. I thought it was a really beautiful piece and pretty versatile in the way that I could style in it. You could definitely put some filler in it. You could put multiple different kinds of plants. I'm just going to pop it over here on this little table that we have our very old-fashioned TV on. It is not one that can be mounted on the wall, although I would like to do that when we do get a new one, definitely get a mounted style. But hey, for now, even though this is a humble little spot that's not very fancy, I'm going to make it look a little bit nicer with this beautiful bowl, just popping in some of this asparagus fern, I'm pretty sure it's called, that I got from Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. I think it looks really nice and adds a little bit of charm even to this very humble corner. Another piece that I found that I picked up was this beautiful wooden wall shelf, and I gave you a hint on this one in my Instagram stories if you follow me over there. This one cost me $25, and I thought that it had a lot of potential. I just really liked the shape of it. I'm wondering if I want to try easy off on this. It's very sturdy. It's like very thick and sturdy wood. It's not cracked or like overly dry already, so I think that that might do fine and not mess it up. I haven't tried the whole acetone thing that I keep seeing, like people use acetone to strip. I could also do a paint wash. I could do like, I don't really want to do gel stain over it. So I'm just going to chew on what way I want to just kind of get some of the orange out. It's not too bad. It's not like super orange, but it kind of is actually. So I want to do something to neutralize it. I'm going to think on what way I'm going to try. So I ended up going ahead and deciding to strip this with Easy Off, as I've done with many pieces in the past. It's something I'm familiar with, and it would allow me to get through this project pretty quickly. But I did want to take the mirror out from the back because I figured it would probably harm the back layer of the mirror. So I'm just popping the back off and removing the mirror section completely. Then I always like to lay down cardboard, and I'm just giving this a spray of the Easy Off oven cleaner all over it, getting in all of the nooks and crannies. Then you just have to let that sit for maybe 15-20 minutes, come back out, scrub it a little bit as you rinse it off with water, and wait for the piece to completely dry. Waiting for the piece to completely dry is where the magic happens, because it will often look a lot more dark or orange or yellow or whatever you're trying to get rid of when it's soaking wet. But then as it dries, in this sped up footage you can tell here, it really does become a lot more neutral, a lot more weathered and washed out looking, which is what I was going for to remove a lot of that orange. So I put the mirror back in, and I have a confession to make. You can probably see it in this shot. I did actually break the mirror when I was removing it. My crowbar went in just a little too far past the backing and onto the glass, and I cracked the mirror. I was so upset when I did that. I was so upset with myself, but it's okay. I'm just gonna find a new piece of mirror from something affordably at a thrift store coming up and replace the mirror. But in the meantime, I do have an idea for how I can just simply hide it for the time being until I find a mirror of the right size. I think that overall it turned out really nicely, and the color goes well. It still has a little bit of warmth, so it's not completely washed out or bleached, but it's definitely not as orange or brightly saturated as it was before. So as for hiding the cracks, I actually have this set of vintage books, and I have a few more of them too. From a yard sale, they had a ton of these vintage books for 25 cents each, which was amazing. So I brought home quite a few of them, and they actually fit perfectly inside of this little shelf. So I thought that for the time being, I would just pop a few of these in here to cover up the cracks in the glass and go about my life while I have the measurements for the new mirror that I need in my purse should I come across the perfect one at the thrift store. I actually think that these books look really sweet right here and add just even more vintage charm to this area. So I'm kind of happy about that accident in a way, because I probably wouldn't have thought to put these here otherwise. So this is practical because we can stop and take a glance in the mirror on our way out, since this is in my entryway. Or also it's just a display shelf, so 2 in 1, and I thought this was a great deal for $25. I'm gonna keep this little entry table really cleared off and low to counterbalance the heaviness up top. And I also would like to replace this table probably at some point, but I'm going with what I have for now, and I think that it looks pretty sweet. This is a really cute little dresser. $150. The drawers work smoothly. I imagine like darkening this up with a little bit of stain. That would be really pretty. It's so heavy. So again, this was $3.99. I don't really love the green matting or the fact that it has these side-by-side photos, but I thought that I would just take all of this out and put one big picture in here, which should be really easy to do. So I'm just gonna pop all of that out. This was a really easy swap to make and definitely worth the time. I just had to get a photo printed out in the right size. I usually do that at my local CVS just for proximity's sake. That was super easy to do, and I've been making a collection of these silver tone frames for over here on the right side of my living room, and I just like the way that they look all grouped together over there. I think it's a sweet look. I could also turn this one vertically for some more height over there, which maybe I'll do soon, And while we're over here, let's talk about this fireplace. So as you can see, it's just solidly painted brick, and I regret painting it when we moved in years ago. I wish that I would have just lime washed it or something instead. So I've been regretting that decision and sort of having this idea in my mind for a while now, and finally committed to it this past weekend. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some watered down paint, and this is about 6 parts water to 1 parts paint in the color Moth Wing by Sherwin-Williams for this first layer. And as you can see, I'm just applying it kind of lightly with a balled up paper towel over all of the faces of these bricks. This is my first level, and I think that it looks pretty good, but I do want to add some more depth to it. But I was studying some more pictures, and I realized that something that I want is for the grout lines to not all be pure white either. And so what I'm going to do is go in with another, bending down, another color, and this is a little bit of Jogging Path, also by Sherwin-Williams. And you can't really tell just from this bowl, but it's got more of a gray-green tint to it than what I have. And I'm just gonna go in and fill in some of the grout lines so that they're not stark white, and then also do a few dabs of this different color over top of the brick faces as well, just to give it even a little bit more dimension. Now this step to me is where it really started to come alive and look like I hoped and envisioned that it would. So as you can see here, I'm just switched over to a foam brush for these mortar lines. Sorry, I kept calling them grout lines in the previous footage, just ignore that. It's mortar, not grout. But in any case, I'm just going over them and I'm kind of patting behind myself. I would not even go back and do that patting behind myself step. I ended up going back and making them darker. So I liked the way I kind of had to just trial and error it and step back across the room and look and come back again. So I did end up going a little darker and just not patting them off behind myself. But you can see a sped up version up here as I work on the top section, and how much charm and I would say depth that adding those darker mortar lines adds. And the more I did, the more I felt happy with the results. So once again, here is the before, just the painted brick. It was painted a slightly creamier white than the wall color, but here it is afterwards with this faux lime wash treatment. I definitely think that adding that watered down Jogging Path color made all the difference. What do you think? Before and after, this looks like so much more interesting, so much less just a flat painted brick, and now it has interest, it has depth, it has age. I think that that was a really good combo. And honestly, that did not take very long. It was not complicated. I ended up going in the grout lines with a foam brush instead of my paper towel. But look how much better this looks just with a little bit of paint. So I hope that this method inspires someone out there. If you also painted your fireplace white at some point and regret it and wish it had a little more charm, this is just one idea that you might want to try. And that about wraps up today's video. I hope that you enjoyed the finds and the DIY. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button before you leave, and also let me know in the comments what you enjoyed. I love to read the comments. Also, as always, I hope that everyone listening out there has a fantastic week, and I'll see you at the next video.